Good morning. Today was a struggle. I've just finished my gym session, just had some breakfast. But yeah, today was a real struggle. I was on legs today, but last night I participated in some bad habits. I was laying in bed watching TikTok and YouTube, which meant that I didn't really switch off before I went to sleep, and so kept waking up in the night. So really didn't get I really didn't get enough sleep. And this morning, as much as like the exercises were difficult, like I was working my muscles. I certainly struggled more with the mental side, and I think I've spoken about this before, in that leg days are very much a mental battle as much as they are a physical battle, because your leg muscles are so big and take up so much energy to do anything, etc., that it's very easy for your brain to give up. And that's what I was facing today. My brain was giving up a lot quicker than my body was. And so I kind of had to keep going, had to keep pushing through. And I got it done, but it certainly didn't feel great in the moment. And afterwards, I was incredibly shaky and everything else. So it's not, it wasn't a great session, all in all. But I think it's important that we are honest with ourselves when that happens and understand why that's happened. So I understand that my session was a bit shit this morning because I stayed up late and I didn't sleep properly, because I didn't properly unwind before I went to bed, and I was still watching TikTok when I should have been asleep, and I could have read or just not been on my phone before I went to bed. But I kind of wanted to talk about this, not because of what I did last night, but because of what I went through this morning. And it wasn't anything major, but it was certainly a realization that I only ever post my gym sessions or photos or anything like that when it's a highlight. And I feel like that is the same with anyone, to be fair. Like, social media is essentially a highlight reel of everyone's life. But it's also important to talk about the times where it isn't so great, because everyone goes through it. And so if I only make content when something's going well, and I only discuss my gym sessions when they're good, it creates this false idea that all of my gym sessions are good. Every day that I go to the gym, I'm really enthused about it, and I really want to get there, and I really want to get it done, and it all goes well, it all goes fantastic, I'm hitting PRs all the time. And that's just not the case, like, in any way. Following progressive overload and having that as the main focus of my sessions means that I quite often hit PRs and PBs, because you're either increasing the weight or you're increasing the reps in order to keep that progression going. But there are occasions, like today, where you either hit the same as you did last session, or you have to regress slightly. And that's absolutely okay. The progress in any sense, whether that be in the gym, in your career, in friendships, in relationships, the growth and the progress isn't linear. It's not going to go in a straight line. There are going to be days where you take a slight dip or it's halted slightly, and that's perfectly okay. That is part of the process. It's part of the path and the journey. And all you have to do on those days where those things are happening is you have to do your best. Something that I've become more aware of and more accepting of, particularly in the last 6 months, is that my best looks different every day, and that's fine. Some days I will be able to go and smash it, because all of the things that I've been doing in my life, all of the environmental factors have gone in my favour. But then there'll be days like today where, whether it be my fault or whether it be just other factors in my life that I can't control, all of the things that go together to make a day or a gym session or a day at work successful, they don't always occur. You can't always predict when something is going to go well, when something is going to go badly. So on those days where things aren't going so well and you're not feeling as great, and maybe you're tired, maybe you're fatigued, maybe you've got a slight injury, as long as you're doing the best that you can do on that day, that's fine. And like I say, the best on that day might be completely different to the best yesterday and the best tomorrow. But that's okay. Your best doesn't have to be a static, unchanging, unwavering thing. And actually, in some respects, it's better if it isn't that. Now it sounds strange, but it is better if it isn't that, on the basis that if your best stayed the same, think of it from the other perspective. Think of it from a perspective of only good days. If you look at it that way and you say, well, my best is always the same, that means that no matter what progress you make today, tomorrow is going to be exactly the same. And the day after, and the day after, and the day after. And suddenly despite the fact that your ability has improved, your best stays the same. And that's ridiculous. So although it makes no sense to us for our best to be the same when we think about improving, we need to be okay with the fact that our best can also decrease. From one day to another, your best doesn't have to mean exactly the same thing. This has become particularly pertinent to me as at the moment I've got a slight hamstring injury on my right leg. I'm not too sure what I've done, but there's a slight strain there, which means that in the lengthened position, I've got a lot of tension and a lot of pain in my right hamstring, which means that I haven't been able to hit the same numbers as I was before I was facing this pain. And for some reason, I'm able to kind of formalize that in my brain and make it make sense. But if I think about a mental strain, which in some ways the sleep thing is, there is a slight mental strain in that I've not got the same mental fortitude going into all of my exercises as I would have if I'd slept properly. Because it's not a physical pain, it's just feeling something a bit different when it's like a mental struggle. Suddenly that feels like it's not worthy of having an impact. And I think everyone kind of experiences this in some way. The number of times that I've seen people that are struggling with their day, or they're just having an off day, just not quite them, and their attitude towards it is, oh, I'll be fine, it's nothing, like I'm just being a wimp, or just being a wuss, or I'm making things bigger than they are. Like, you're allowed to have struggles. You're allowed to have some days that are worse than others, some days that are better than others. But for some reason, we seem to conflate mental struggles with being weak, while a physical struggle is some great thing that, oh, if you're injured, it means that you must have worked hard. And if you're physically feeling pain, you must have worked hard. But if you're struggling mentally, suddenly you're weak. And it's a you problem. It's not a problem of the situation. It's a problem with the way that you're dealing with it. Give yourself some kindness. Give yourself some permission to have bad days and be okay with it.